We may have finally found a race that De'Von Achane won't win. That and a lot more here today on Locked On Dolphins.
You are Locked On Dolphins, your daily Miami Dolphins podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, Miami, welcome to another episode of Locked On Dolphins. It is your team every day here on the Locked On Network. I'm your host, Kyle Krabs, a lifelong Miami Dolphins fan, host of Locked On Dolphins, co-host of Locked On NFL Scouting, author of Touchdown Miami on Substack, NFL staff writer for A to Z Sports. Want to give a special welcome and shout out to our everydayers because it is your team every day. We don't just say it, we live it here on the Locked On Network. A special thank you to all of you who have helped make the Locked On Podcast Network the #1 sports podcast network in the world. We appreciate the honor very, very much. Today's episode of Locked On Dolphins is brought to you by FanDuel. If you want to be in the right place in the middle of all of the action for the rest of this football season, visit FanDuel.com. Place your NFL live bets all season long. Today on the show, some Jets developments for the game on Sunday. Some things to know. We have our crossover with John Butchko on Locked On Jets tomorrow. I just got done doing it. It's a great chat. We had a great time, great preview of the game. We, of course, did our squad show already today with Jeff Scanina, former Dolphin great, longtime NFL player, NFL defensive line coach, Jim Grieshaber and myself. And here the rest of the way today, we're going to talk about the evolution of the trenches this season. We're going to talk about De'Von Achane's place in Finn's history from a single season perspective, and this Jets game from some personnel news. Now, let's start with De'Von Achane, who is the 11th player, in franchise history to surpass 1,000 rushing yards in a single season. That list is significantly shorter for guys who have done so in 12 games, right? The Dolphins played their 12th game against the New Orleans Saints at home coming out of their bye. Achane now sits 12th on the all-time list of single-season rushing marks in franchise history at 1,034. Larry Sonka is 11th at 1,051. Reggie Bush is 10th at 1,086. Lamar Miller is 9th at 1,099 with 100 yards, which would put him at 1,134. De'Von Achane would sit 6th on the single season mark for rushing yards, and he has the chance to do that in just 13 games. The question, of course, is how high up the charts can he go? Over the last 3 weeks, he's averaging about 200 or 142 rushing yards per game over the last 3 games. The workload's obviously been up. The passing volume was down against the Saints, but we're running for an average of 142 yards per game the last 3 weeks. That might not be sustainable across a 17-game sample size, but the Dolphins, you're 5-7. Your coach is coaching for his job. Your players are playing for their jobs. I would not be surprised if they empty the tank a little bit this year. They're going to make De'Von Achane earn that contract extension that everybody's asking if the Dolphins are going to give out this offseason. His current pace for the season is 86.2 rushing yards. That is amongst qualifying backs in the top, with running backs with at least 100 carries. That's the second highest average in franchise history. It's Ricky Williams in 2002, who owns the single season record, averaged 115.8 rushing yards per game in 16 games. More on that math in a minute. Ronnie Brown averaged 86 rushing yards a game. He's third in franchise history, but he only played in 7 games, and that was in 2007. That was that 1-15 team. Ronnie Brown was the wagon, but then he got hurt. So Achane, 86.2, second highest mark in franchise history for rushing yards per game. And he's doing this while averaging over 5.5 yards a carry because he only has 186 carries thus far this season. 186 might feel like a lot, but with 5 games remaining, Ricky Williams in 2002, when he set the franchise record, had 197 more carries than Achane has right now. 383 in a season. And then the following year, he had 392. Just astronomical workloads. And I don't think it's wise for the Dolphins to expect, even if they give Achane the ball 20 times a game over the last 5 games, right? And he finishes at 286 in the way of carries. That's a hefty amount. I'd be leery about doing that year over year. I think there's a sweet spot for Achane. We're maximizing his window right now as he's in the third year of a rookie contract. But if Achane were to go for 86 yards rushing a game over the final 5 games, he would finish just short of 1,500 yards for the season. That would rank him second all time by over 100 yards over the number 2 spot right now, which is Ricky Williams in 2003 when he had 1,372. So Ricky's got about a 500-yard gap between 02 and 03 for first and second place on the single season mark in franchise history. But say he averages what he's been getting the last 3 games. If De'Von Achane averaged 142, which is what he's got the last 3 games, 142 yards across the final 5 games, he would finish 2025 with 1,747 rushing yards. So about 1,750. That'd be about 100 yards behind Ricky. So you can do the math then. He's going to need to average about 164 rushing yards a game if he's going to chase down Ricky Williams. We finally found a race that De'Von Achane, in all likelihood, will not win. Now, maybe he runs for 300 yards in a single game. Maybe Cincinnati, right? Cincinnati, their run defense has been real bad thus far this season. And if we get a game like that, yeah, let's get weird. We'll talk about it if we get a chance to talk about it. But Achane right now pacing to have the second best mark, just season average is going to be second best mark in franchise history by about 100 yards over Ricky's second best season in Miami. To give you some perspective on what kind of year we're seeing from De'Von Achane. I'm going to talk a little bit about the trenches, speaking of the running game, but the trenches on both sides of the ball. We're going to get to that next here on Locked On Dolphins. Make sure you guys stick with us. The holidays are officially here, which means gift hunting season is on. And if you want something meaningful, personal, and guaranteed to get a reaction, Aura Frames is the gift that delivers every time. It's not something you wrap. It's a way to share all of your memories, whether that's to parents, grandparents, your friends from high school. You can upload endless photos, pictures, 30-second videos through the Aura app. Add a personalized message right inside the frame so the gift feels thoughtful the moment that it's opened. The packaging comes gift ready with no price tag, no wrapping. It's a huge win for your gift shopping efforts. For a limited time, save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com to get $35 off Aura's best-selling Carver mat frames, named #1 by Wirecutter by using promo code LOCKEDON at checkout. That's auraframes.com. Promo code Locked On. This deal is exclusive to listeners of the program, and frames sell out fast. So order yours now to get it in time for the holidays. Support the show by mentioning us at checkout. Terms and conditions do apply. Wrote about this for A to Z Sports. Talked about it a little bit on the Squad show, but wanted to give it its moment in the sun for those of you who might not listen to the Squads or like to get your content directly on our traditional me on a soapbox for 20 to 30 minutes a day programming. The Dolphins, since week 6, remember week 5 was that catastrophic game in Carolina where the Dolphins ran for 19 yards and the Panthers ran for what felt like 400. They had Baker's dozen missed tackles in the game. They couldn't tackle anybody. Explosive runs right up the gut, getting gouged and demoralized on the ground. You blew a 17-0 lead because you got dominated in the trenches. From the moment the clock hit triple zeros to end that football game until today, I want you to think about what I'm about to tell you. This is half a season's worth of sample size here. The Dolphins are the NFL's 6th best rushing offense in EPA, running the football. They're number 5 in rushing yards. They're number 4 in yards per carry, 5.1. They're number 2 in yards after contact per rush. The line's been better. The backs have been better. They've been getting downhill more. They've been getting the edges more effectively. They've been better on the edges with the tight ends and the fullbacks to get outside. The wide receivers have been better. Since week 6, NFL's 6th best rushing offense as measured by EPA, expected points added. The other side of this coin is the run defense. And it's a defense that's faced Atlanta. It's a defense that's faced Buffalo. It's a defense that's faced Baltimore. It's a defense that's faced a number of teams that have successfully run the ball this season. The Dolphins' run defense in EPA since the start of Week 6 is the number 2 run defense in the NFL per EPA. Now, there's stretches here, right? The Chargers game, Vidal got you with a couple on the edge. The Browns had the one Quinshad Judkins explosive run that popped. Derrick Henry got you for a couple that popped as well. Wasn't perfect. But what's meaningful for me about this stretch of trench play, right? You can't just say, oh, well, they played bad teams. Because there's teams that rank very well and are very successful. And there's context of newness. A lot of new players on the defensive front. Your edge guys, unfortunately, had rust more than we hoped they would. Their young defensive tackles all had to learn how to play together and what skill sets to get on the field at the same time. It took some time to get there. But if you look at the schedule and what's left versus what they've played, everything I'm going to tell you is from a Week 6 to today snapshot, Week 6 through Week 13. The Dolphins do not have another opponent on the schedule that has run the ball anywhere near the consistency of what the teams that they've played from Week 6 to Week 13 have in Weeks 6 through 13. The Dolphins have the Bengals and Bucks, who both rank in the top 12 in the league in rushing EPA. The Bengals get Joe Burrow back. They're automatically going to revert back to the offense that they were, where they're going to throw the ball. And that's not guaranteeing that you're going to have success stopping the Bengals. The Steelers are 16th. The Jets and Patriots are bottom 10 in rushing EPA since Week 6. So 2 top 12 teams, one of which is contextually going to be very different because Joe Burrow's returned. But since Week 6, the opponents that the Dolphins have played since Week 6, Buffalo and Baltimore are both in the top 8. The Chargers and Falcons are 13th and 14th, respectively. Those 4 teams all rank better than Pittsburgh, and half of those teams rank better than where Tampa Bay currently ranks at 12th. So the stretch of games you just played, you've been very successful against teams that are more successful in the thing that you were successful defending against than the 5 teams you have left on the schedule. And the same thing goes for the defense, or for the Dolphins on offense. Well, since Week 6, the Jets, the Steelers, the Bengals, the Bucks, and the Patriots are all 22nd or worst in EPA run defense. Going against the Dolphins running game, that's top 6 in the NFL in running the ball since Week 6. 3 of those 5 teams rank in the bottom 8 in yards after contact per rush. The Dolphins at 3.5 yards per carry are number 2 in the NFL in that same measure. This has a chance to be sustainable for the rest of the season. I'm not guaranteeing it means wins, but the growth you've seen from the team, you can argue. Just think about this one more time. The Dolphins' final 5 opponents over the last 8 weeks ranked 22nd or worst, all 5 of them, in defending the run from an EPA standard. This is not the 2024 Dolphins. The softies up front. And Austin Jackson just came back. And I know Austin Jackson's not a popular dude in Miami because he misses a lot of games. But you know what? You watch him create displacement in the run game relative to what the Dolphins have gotten at right tackle, and it makes a difference. They could be even better. It's going to be fascinating to see how it plays out. Apologies for an optimistic segment of the show talking about how the Dolphins have grown and grown significantly with context, and how I think it can be very sustainable for this team. Health willing, which is a big qualifier. Always is. We're going to get into the Jets and some news for the Jets and their personnel for this game in Week 14 with Miami going to MetLife Stadium. That's next. Make sure you guys stick with us. NFL Sundays move fast. One big play, and suddenly everything in the game feels different. And that's what makes live betting with FanDuel so exciting. If you're not watching the game, you're reacting to it in real time. With FanDuel, you can place bets as the action unfolds every drive, every momentum swing, every highlight moment. And as we just got done talking about earlier in the show, De'Von Achane, he's good for a few explosives in any given game, it feels like these days. So live betting is best when the game starts to shift, when a receiver or a running back gets hot, a defense tightens up, the momentum flips after a turnover. FanDuel lets you jump into the moment with live spreads and money lines that adjust instantly, player props that update as guys heat up. You can bet next touchdown scores, drive results, totals, and more. It keeps you locked into every snap, every drive, and every possibility. So if you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, visit FanDuel.com and place your NFL live bets all season long. FanDuel, the game moves fast, and so can you. The Jets are going to be down a few pieces in this game, and the Jets, from the last time you played them, are already going to be a dramatically different team. Right? Justin Fields, no longer here. Garrett Wilson's going to be on injured reserve. He's missed the last 3 games. He will continue to miss at least one more. He will miss the Dolphins rematch game. So Adonai Mitchell, who was a part of the Sauce Gardner trade with the Colts, is going to be the wide receiver 1. Speaking of, Sauce Gardner's now a member of the Colts. So he was here in week 4 and is not going to be here this time around, just like Quinnen Williams was a part of the week 4 matchup at defensive tackle, and he's been traded to the Cowboys. But that's not it. So Sauce Gardner's gone. The Jets made a trade in season earlier this year with the Tennessee Titans to bring in Jarvis Brownlee. And Brownlee's been a promising young player. Jarvis Brownlee is going to miss this game as well. So you as the Jets are going to be missing Jarvis Brownlee. You're going to be missing Sauce Gardner. You're going to be missing Quinnen Williams on defense. That leaves Brandon Stevens and potentially Azareye'h Thomas, who's a rookie out of Florida State, as the corners for this game. That feeds very well into Miami's matchups with Jalen Waddle and finding out ways to unlock him. Offensively, the absence of Garrett Wilson, you'll probably still play cover 2, and Adonai Mitchell is very much a vertical plane, explosive play type of guy. His presence as the number 1, Miami's pretty well suited to account for because they play a lot of cover 2. Their coverage matrix this year is skewed more heavily to cover 2 than almost any other team in the league. It's a very popular coverage call for them. They don't leave their corners on islands a lot. They don't play a lot of middle of the field close, cover 1 man. Now they get in where the field gets tight, and they'll heat you up and they'll blitz in the red zone, although their blitz rate in the red zone's lower than a vast majority of the league. But they will blitz you or sim pressure you all over the field. So a team that plays cover 2 against a field stretcher type and not an intermediate separator in the way that Garrett Wilson is a big shift. Now, Tyrod Taylor at quarterback for the Jets is the ultimate wild card, because if you run, hypothetically, you run stick as a passing concept, and the stick is open, Tyrod Taylor's going to throw the stick. If you run slant flat and the corner chases, and then the defender carrying the flat is late getting out to the flat, Tyrod Taylor's going to throw the flat. Or you watch Justin Fields, and his execution of some of these things is not where it needs to be. He's not executing the passing offense with the sharpness that you need to, if you will. So I expect the Jets to be efficient. I expect the Jets to have the ability to move the ball. It's up to the Dolphins to continue to have the success that they have had defending the run since week 6. Force the Jets to pass the ball, allow the Jets to make a mistake to back them up against the sticks, or alternatively to allow the field to compress as they get into scoring territory and force miscues, force tighter window throws, force completions underneath, rally up and make tackles. That is the formula for the Dolphins. Surprisingly, I was surprised to find this out. The Jets really have not turned the ball over all that much after the first month of the season. You can go back to week 6. We're using week 6 as kind of a cutoff for a growth point for the Dolphins on the line of scrimmage play on both sides of the ball this year. The Jets have played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games because they had their bye week in week 9, starting at week 6. The team has 6 turnovers in 7 games after having 8 turnovers in the first 5 games. They're doing a much better job of protecting the football. They don't turn the ball over defensively. They have 2 takeaways on the season. No interceptions. Now, God bless us. Let's hope this is not the week. I'm not prepared for it. I cannot do another week of discourse if the Jets get picks off Tua Tagovailoa. But your path for this game, I think, is relatively clear. I mean, the Falcons came out and ran for 167. The Browns ran for 158. The Bengals ran for 181 against you. The Panthers ran for 125. The Cowboys ran for 180. The Bills ran for 224. The Bucs ran for 122. The Dolphins, the first time, ran for 123. And that was the bad version of the offense. Keep doing the thing. And that goes back to our entire talk in segment 2. You have a sustainable model right now, and your opponents should continue to keep it a sustainable model. Don't beat yourself. Go win another football game. We'll talk a little bit more about this contest with the Jets, the matchups, the storylines for each team tomorrow on Crossover Thursday with John Butchko. We hope to see you then. That's going to do it for me here on today's show, Kyle Krabs. Keep it locked in right here, Locked on Dolphins, your team every day. Appreciate you guys for checking out the show. I'll talk to you all again tomorrow.